But I just want to just briefly introduce, since no one knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, my real name is Jason Parch, and my writer is David Wong, and I'm here from the internet. I'm the senior editor of the comedy site crack.com, which at least a couple of you claim to have been to the last time. Okay. That we do, what's it?
We feel like we're kind of like,
oh yeah,
so
you were
we're
freaking
going to
weird.
go back.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
Just take care of my baby.
But Crank does about 100 million page views a month. I think we did 105 million in March to about 7.5 million unique users, which makes it one of the top 5 comedy sites on the planet. And that's, I actually do that full time, editing a website, writing poop jokes from home. But the reason I'm here also is I wrote a horror novel she mentioned called John Dies at the End. That was originally published on the internet for free. And from there, self-published, and then from there sold the film rights, and from there got a hardcover deal with St. Martin's Press that's now available in bookstores nationwide. So that's the reason they asked me to be here, because I've got an experience that's a little bit different than the other writers, because it's kind of an untraditional way that...
And it worked. Don't you love it when an untraditional plan works? Except it wasn't planned. We were just trying to get the stuff out there to people. They just, yeah, no, hardcover book contracting. Yeah, we're a little punchy this morning. Sorry, just jazzing. Jana Oliver, obviously. I have self-published. I've published for the small press. That's my Time Rover series, which is my way of explaining those time travel shapeshifters and Jack the Ripper. So that always gets people interested. And I'm currently contracted with St. Martin's. I'm writing a young adult urban fantasy series set in Atlanta where I get to turn demons loose in downtown Atlanta. I make 5 points Demon Central, for those of you who live in the area.
So it's a true story.
That's already the case?
Yeah, well, it's because of the holes. You know, there's steam pipes and all that. They've got all the holes, and I'm looking at these holes and I'm going, man, that'd be so cool if demons lived
What a
there.
So you're doing nonfiction now?
Yeah, I'm doing nonfiction. And the city is bankrupt. So somebody said, you sure this isn't nonfiction? I'm going, all right. So that comes out in January. It's the first book in the series. It's called The Demon Trapper's Daughter. And though it is designed for 14, it is 14 and up. So adults will find it rather fun and urban fantasy. Because my hero is a southern Georgia boy, a good old boy. And you should see that. And they always want the hunky angel people. Hunky angel people now. It's sort of like sparkly vampires in my mind. So I think what we want to do, and I think probably if you're good with this, David, is we'll just start talking as a group where we think, because you guys are obviously readers and you're obviously writers, or you wouldn't be here, and you get an idea where you guys think publishing is going, where we see it inside the moat, as it were, as we can, like we had a crystal ball, you know, and just get an idea of where everything is headed, because it is so in flux right now with the concepts of, well, okay, 10 years ago would we have assumed, or even 15 years ago would we have assumed that there would be books on these things? Okay, that's changing the market. A lot of things are changing the market. I'm going to throw it out to you first. And this is just totally throwing it out to you. What do you think? Well, we might as well start with the ebook readers, because those are the biggest dynamic in the publishing world right now. Where do you think they're going to go? I think they were saying there were like 5 million units of ebooks sold, 5 million actual readers sold last year, so they're becoming a dynamic.
I've been holding off on buying one because I've been waiting to find out what's going to be the ebook reader, because I kept hearing about this.
VHS type situation.
I kept hearing about these tablet computers. Well, they work as ebook readers, but I got to say, one day I got stuck on a plane. I was flying to Los Angeles. I had to meet with my bosses, and got stuck on the tarmac for like an hour. And the girl next to me, who had brought nothing to read, pulls out her iPhone, still has a signal, and I guess she had the Kindle app or one of the many e-reader apps on there, and dropped the book on there and started reading it. And then when I saw that, I thought, oh, okay. Because that thing, okay, there's like 5 million of these in the world. Yeah, there's 100 million of
Right,
those iPhones.
right.
And in about 3 years, if you don't have a smartphone with a big screen on it, that's the equivalent of having like one of those crank phones from like the 20s. And so it will be every person in the Western world will have it. There will be literally 1 billion smartphones in the world. And all of them, without exception, at any moment, as long as there's somewhere with a signal, they can drag and drop any book in the world of the 3 million titles, however many are published in ebook format at a time. I think that probably, I think avid readers will have these, bigger screen, prettier, easier to read, easier on the eyes. But I think for everybody else, I think you're looking at an ocean of people who suddenly, and who grew up reading, doing most of the reading on a phone in the form of text messages and Facebook updates and Twitter, and they're used to reading on a screen. If that girl, if she had asked me to make the case for, like, well, you should have brought like a paperback instead, based on what? She has 2 million paperbacks. She can go buy it a second. No, what you should have done, you should have had somebody cut down a tree and then mulch up the tree, and then through a very expensive process, flatten it out, and then print it with ink, and then glue it together, and you should have brought that on the plane.
You're just the one.
And I think that we're sort of in the era of the printing press, where there was, when that first came about and people thought of the printing press, it's this crude, ridiculous way. Well, every book is the same. It doesn't have the feel of the books now, where each one is handwritten by a monk and with a pen made of bone. You can't substitute that. Each book's got its own personality because the monk's penmanship is different. You want to go with the stupid printing press thing that just cranks them out, where I now seeing that girl just drop a book, because I don't have an iPhone still, drop a book on there, that's what I felt like I was seeing, like, okay, this is the printing press, and not everybody understands that the world has changed.
The one thing I have held off getting an ebook, mainly because I still have I used to have a TRS 80, a TRS-80.
Old school.
Had the big, black, I'm showing my age here, black floppy disk.
I had one.
Yeah, and you're younger, way younger than me. And what can I do with those discs? I can hang them up, I can throw them at the neighborhood cat. I can't do anything with them. I can't do an upgrade to bring those. I have a whole box of stuff that I've written from years ago that I can't upgrade. And so I'm not a Luddite. I love obviously I have an iPhone. I love new technology. I'm using the dictate on here, which automatically makes what I dictate into an email. I mean, I've got Dante Alighieri and Pride and Prejudice on here, so I'm not a Luddite. But I'm leery until the market shakes out, that we know who's going to stay in it, and do I own the ebooks? Because there's been some issues with Amazon where they'll go, oh, sorry.
You'll own it next week.
And Amazon's totally off my list because of what they did to the Macmillan authors, but that's another whole conversation. But I'm not real sure because there's one more, pardon my, well, yeah, I won't say the word. There's one more thing I have to carry. Okay, and admittedly, if I have a book, I'm carrying a book, but I can jam a book in there, or I can put it on, as you said, I can put it on here. Eyesight is sometimes an issue, but some of these ebook readers will allow you to put it up as a giant, blinder than bat type, and you can actually read them. But this is another expensive something for me to carry. And so I'm a little leery of that. But until we know what technologies or what ebook readers are going to settle out, and the other thing is, as I mentioned before the panel started, I read so voraciously, I don't like the majority of what I read. I'm so fussy that there's only a few authors that I will actually buy the books. And once I do, then I buy their whole series, and I usually buy their audiobooks at the same time. But it would be a waste of money for me to keep buying ebooks because I read them so fast that I'm going, I don't want to read that person again. So what do I do with it? Well, what was it they were saying? Was it the Nook that you could share them with friends? That you can actually loan it out? You can loan any copy out?
You can share it once, and you can't read it at the same time.
Yeah, you can't read it at the same time. It's sort of like a library book.
I think Sony's doing the same thing with theirs.
Which is a neat idea. If you want to read a book, I can say, okay, I can loan you my copy. Though as an author, I would like to see you pay royalty for that.
Yeah.
But then I have relatives who take one copy and hand it all the way around the law office. So I mean, you know, so I can't complain too much. But so I'll throw that out to you guys. Where do you think the ebook readers are going? We'll just ask them and see.
Jen, what are you seeing going on with ebooks in libraries? Can you go to the library and check out an ebook? What's the
can.
relationship there?
You can do that. There are certain numbers. Some of the libraries limit how many times they're out, and then they have to buy a new ebook. Because if you think about it, these books will only tolerate X number of loans out before they fall apart. And then they have to buy a new one, which authors love, and so do publishers. Ebooks, they can go forever. So I think that what they're doing is limiting a certain number of circulation times, or circulation numbers, and then they have to purchase another copy. But you know, I like the idea. The problem with my local library, they put things out and it has to be used in a Microsoft format, and it's not compatible with my iPhone because of the DRM. And I'm going, okay, I just spent 2 years ago I spent $299 for this. I'd like to put the ebook on here. Can't do it. So that's another problem. But yeah, the libraries are starting to do ebooks.
So I found that for me it's been very helpful to have the ebooks in that even though I've never bought an ebook, but I read a lot of them. Not illegal or anything. What I do though is I've got the Kindle.
Yeah.
No, guys. So no, hear me out though. So I have the iPhone just like you, and I've got the Kindle app. And what I do is, if something interests me, then I'll go and I'll download the free sample, and I'll do that. I probably have 30 of them on my phone. And a lot of times, you know, like you're in the bookstore, and it's like, I gotta have this book, and you read it, and you're like, I can't believe I just spent $30 in this hardback, you know? And you know, it's like, oh, that cover was much better than the story, or whatever. And so, but what I'll do is I'll read the first chapter or two, whatever the sample is that they give you, and then if I like it, then I go and I buy a hardback, or I actually buy the book, you know, and support the author that way. And if it wasn't so good, then that was it, and there was no investment on my part. And I found that for me has worked very well. And actually, I probably end up buying more books that way.
I think that's what authors think. You were doing that with your sampling. People go out and read as you posted your thing. I do the samplers. You have to, because it's like going into Costco and they go, "Hi, would you like to try the Vienna, alligator sausage?" And they hand it to you, and you taste it, and you go, "Hey, that's not bad," and you buy some. You got to do that, especially with the cost of books and the fact that people have a finite space for storing books, so they've got to find what they want. I think you have to offer that. Now, I know there's a lot of folks out there who say don't offer your stuff out there for free because you'll never make it back, and he's living proof that's a lie. And or let's say living proof that the rules can be broken.
Yeah, and there's only so much you can do to restrict, like the thing with the libraries where they have them expire after so many, where the publisher makes them expire. That's an artificial rule they put on there. I mean, a book physically falls apart. You can see the book's falling apart. They need a new one. The fact that they have an electronic copy that would be eternal if they allowed it to be, and they have to arbitrarily say, no, this will fall apart after you've loaned it 50 times. You can only do so much of that. You can only do so much artificial scarcity, when in reality the information is there and it kind of wants to be free, and if you try too much to restrict it, eventually people start to figure out ways to.
They go out of their way to do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it becomes a cause. We're gonna try to
Figure out
make sure this gets out in the open.
So it's the same conversation that because people plainly still pay for stuff. People still go see movies, people still buy video games, people still buy software, people still buy books by the millions, people still buy DVDs, shows, the TV shows, DVDs, they buy stuff constantly, even with the piracy out there. So you sort of have to say, in this new world, if they want to sample your work and they're scared of putting up the money, if they're not confident enough in your work to put an investment in it up front, they'll get it. So if they want it, if they have that desire, they'll get it, and they'll sample it, but you have to believe that there's got to be ways, because this is the same conversation they have in the music industry, in Hollywood, everywhere, about are still ways to get people to pay. People are willing to pay, but because things are not scarce anymore, because there's so much media now, and there's so much on the internet that's free, they have to get a certain amount of free stuff before they feel like they've come out on the right end of the deal.